So welcome to our business spotlight on Vintory, and I'm pleased to introduce the founder of Vintory, Brooke Fouts. And welcome, Brooke.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. And to share the experience of working with Vintory is Matthew Tesdell, the co-owner of Family Vacation Rentals. And I understand this is in the fabulous state of Utah, right, Matt?
Yeah, Utah and Oregon. Thank you for having me on here.
Again, it is my pleasure. It's always great to talk not only to the founder of a company, but also to talk to somebody who has used the services and is able to give that feedback to people, because we all know that it's easy for a company to come out and do a nice flashy promotion and a nice flashy sales piece, but to actually speak to users live, I think is such a great benefit. So Brooke, let's kick off. Tell us how Vintory came about and what the platform actually does. And I'll be transparent here. I'm also a Vintory user, so I will be putting in my, as we used to say, my halfpenny worth.
Well, I've never heard of it that way, but I like it. I'm learning something every day here. But well, thank you again, Heather, for having us. And so Vintory was started. That was actually a trip down to Blue Ridge, Georgia, and I was meeting with my friend CJ Stam, who was struggling with his inventory acquisition. And we had another mutual friend of ours, David Angati, and he was the one that said, Brooke, he goes, what are you doing? He goes, this industry needs more than anything else is a company, an agency, if you will, that helps professional vacation rental managers grow their inventory. He's like, you've got the experience, you've got the story, you're positioned better than anybody on the planet to do this. Why don't you do this? And CJ literally raised his hand. He said, I'm in. He's like, Brooke, I was going to do that billboard across the street for $10,000. I'd rather give the money to you. And that was literally the launch of it. And, fast forward to today, we're, 85 partners strong. So it's been a fun run.
When did you start? When was this?
That was March 1st of last year, 2019.
Wow. Not long ago then. Okay. So what does the platform do?
Yeah, so it's a couple different things, and it's, we've had some iteration throughout it, but we've improved along the way. But it's really a sales and marketing platform that does one thing and one thing only, and that's help professional vacation managers grow their inventory. So it started out originally more of kind of like an agency where we would help out creating the marketing, creating the direct mail, creating postcards, and then more like a digital agency as well. So doing digital marketing, doing email blasts and things like that. But it's morphed, and we're actually developing out now software. So we actually have our own CRM and sales and marketing automation, and we're going to continue to add and build on top of that right now. So it started as an agency, and it's really morphed into a software platform.
And as I say, I have experience of it because I'm a Victory. There's a slip for you. So I'm a Vintory partner, and know at first hand how excellent the platform is. It is already working for us, and that's probably a conversation I'll have with you later, Brooke, because we're so delighted with how it's working for us. But I have not been with you that long. And Matt has been with Vintory since the very early days, your second client. So Matt, tell us, how did this all start? How did you get involved?
Really, Brooke calls me up one day. I've known Brooke for a long time, and he calls me up. He says, Matt, I have an idea I want to talk to you about. And Brooke has a great past. He's been very successful. So when someone like that calls me and says, I have an idea I want to talk about, I'm all ears. Especially I like to hear about things in progress. And that's really what Brooke brought to the table when we talked on the phone and then eventually got together in person. I was so impressed with what his idea was there on the BD side business. Being a small owner operator business, or not even small, doesn't matter what size you are. A lot of times we don't have our own BD departments. We can't afford to go out and do that. And so that's what he brought to the table. He brought to the table and said, I'm going to be your BD department. And how can you turn that down? And then when we started doing the numbers, and he's so analytical. So he's very like, if you do this, then this happens. And, you know, and at the end of the day, or at the end of the conversation, like, I want this over here. So let's get started here. He goes, okay, let's do it. So that's really what it was. I mean, from our email marketing to our actual postcard to handwritten letters. I mean, I can tell you stats already, but it's just amazing how well it's worked over the years. Over years. I think it's years. It's 18 months.
How many properties did you have when you started with Vintory, and how many do you have now?
We had roughly a little over 100, maybe 105, maybe, Brooke, something about that. I think that's about right. And we're just over 130.
Wonderful. So what have been the benefits? What would you say are the major benefits of working with the Vintory team?
Honestly, for me, it's about structure. It's having someone in the team there that actually helps you stay on task, which is an entrepreneur. That's the tough part sometimes, to stay on task. We can get sidetracked on stuff. So that's why you have to have someone that just handles, or a company that just handles one piece of your business for you, and then they report back to you. And that's where that works with Vintory on the BD side, helping me go out there in the owner acquisition and doing the mailers and doing this, and say, okay, you have to give them the information. You got to work with them. It's not a set it and forget it type system. But you get what you put into it, and that's the benefit there. So for me, it brought that department in. It made it professional with the PDFs and the graphics and everything they did. It's just been fantastic, and I've used it so much, even outside of, you know, with the email and the mail campaigns that we've done. It's helped our whole process this whole time.
And, you know, I'll go along with that, because we were struggling, you know, in our business, we were struggling too with, and just one example, and I don't know whether you're familiar with this type of thing, is that you get an inquiry from a potential owner, and then it just sort of slipped through the cracks, and we never followed up. And then, and we realized this, I just heard from an owner the other day who we'd come across on an email, and I went back to them and said, you know, did you ever find a property manager? And they said, yes, we did, because you never responded, so we had to go elsewhere. And I don't think we're the only ones that have let people slip through the cracks like that.
Yeah,
that just hurts me when I see that. Yeah. And to be honest with you, a little transparent. So I have a MacBook, and whenever I had an owner inquiry, I had notes open on the side of my computer, and I would put it in my notes section. Well, over the years, that really grows. And it's, you know, notes is very hard. And with Vintory, actually bringing the CRM to it. So now I can track everything. I know when they're opening it. I know when something's been replied to. I can look back in the notes, and I think we have, and I get the exact number. I had obviously nobody in my CRM on the platform. I had a notebook of, you know, maybe a few dozen people. I know my contacts in there is over 500 at this point.
Yeah,
you know, it's not that they all came from the Vintory process, but now at least I have a way to track it. Yes,
yeah, and that has been super important to us. So, Brooke, you're hearing two of your clients here waxing lyrical on how great you are.
I'm just going to sit here and let you guys keep talking. I'm good. Maybe I should be the host asking questions for you two.
Well, you know, is there anything you want to ask us?
Well, that's a good question. Wait, touche. But no, I mean, and really a lot of this, I mean, it all comes down to the pain points of what we've been hearing from our partners, right? And really listening to our partners and understanding the pain points. And look, I was in the seat, you know, I built a company from the ground up. So I know exactly firsthand, this is not me, you know, in the ivory tower, just thinking of what I think you all want. I was in your shoes for 5 years, or actually much longer than but I own my own company for years, so I know exactly the pain points of it. And what I saw time and time again was exactly what you all just described. And it's how often, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, when you were doing everything, you were wearing 12 different hats, and those leads do come in. How do you have that follow-up, and how do you remember it's there? So having it all in one place, but more importantly, creating all the sequences and creating all the automatic follow-up that happens, as I say, auto-magically, it almost seems like you're 10 people deep, doing that. You know what I mean? Because it's the automation that's doing it, and it's not done like a robot though. It's real real emails, real text messages, and everything else communicating directly with those partners or with your prospective owners. And anything we can do to make your lives easier, that's kind of our goal. And kind of to kind of just talk about what Matt talked about earlier is, this is your business development team, and think of it that way, right? So, and we have, we're growing super fast. I think we're up to 32 team members right now. But that, like, you have a business development department now that's 32 strong. How could you afford to do that? You know what I mean? With a small business, you can't. So you couldn't afford. We have 2 full-time data scientists. We have 3 full-time graphic designers. We have 1 person, all she does is emails all day long, setting up the email campaigns and getting those out. Like, you could never afford that as a small business owner. But, with the platform and the way we're able to scale this, we can actually do it because we have all the right people in the right seats that allow that to happen. And these are the best people on the planet at doing this, right? I would argue the best at, on the planet at inventory acquisition, because this is all we do. This is all we focus on. Matt, you're, entrepreneur. You're talking to guests 1 second, you're talking to owners other seconds, you're talking to the housekeepers and cleaners and maintenance people and everything else. You just, it's too hard to juggle all these different things.
Well, it's clear from, from my experience and from Matt's experience that you are doing a great job. And I'm so delighted that we're doing this business spotlight on Vintory, because, for anybody out there who is watching this and thinking about, knowing that pain point and struggling along, then I think you should get in touch with Brooke right now. And the team at Vintory are just amazing. I was quite astonished at the process of data gathering that they went through. It was just, it was terrific, and just great people you've got on board, Brooke. And that's, I know, by virtue of how you select them, how you put them in the right places. And so kudos to you for that. So how can people get in touch with you and find out more?
Yeah, obviously you can go to our website, vintory.com, vintory.com, or you can email me directly at Brooke with an E at vintory.com. Simple as that. And
for those of you watching this who want to know a little bit more about Vintory, you can go to the podcast, Vacation Rental Success, and you will find a couple of interviews that I've done with Brooke. In fact, if you go to the Vintory business page on vacationrentalformula.com, you're going to find a lot more information as well. So I just want to thank you both. Thank you very much, Matt, for joining us. You're also on the podcast, so I'll make sure there's a link to that episode on Brooke's and Vintory's business page too, because we'll no doubt be talking about owner acquisition during that podcast episode as well. So thank you both for joining me on this Business Spotlight.
Thanks.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Brooke.